Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing, Inc.
Jamaica's education minister resigns from his job and the Senate amid corruption allegations. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Wednesday, March 20th. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. Ruel Reid is no longer in Prime Minister Andrew Holness's cabinet, and he has also resigned from the Senate. The revelation came Wednesday from Holness, who said he had asked Reid to step down in order to facilitate an investigation into allegations of corruption at the ministry. The Prime Minister's office has now temporarily taken supervision of the ministry and will review it and its agencies. Holness said he had asked for Reid's resignation in keeping with the principles of good governance after meeting with the minister on Wednesday morning regarding certain allegations in the public domain. The development comes 2 days after the opposition urged the Auditor General to immediately investigate allegations of breaches and misuse of public funds at the Education Ministry. Prime Minister Holness said Reid's departure from the ministry would ensure that any investigation into matters of concern would not be in any way impeded by his presence or oversight. On Monday, opposition leader Dr. Peter Phillips said his People's National Party had received information about politically connected persons being employed as advisors and collecting hefty salaries without doing any work. He said there were issues of cronyism, nepotism, and corruption in the ministry involving specifically the Caribbean Maritime University and how funds sent to the ministry for 2 specific programs were being utilized. Ghana's main opposition People's Progressive Party, PPP, says it will not accept holding regional and general elections in November. In fact, opposition leader Bart Jagdeo says the party intends to make life very difficult for the government, which he says is taking the country towards a constitutional crisis. On Tuesday, chairman of the Ghana Elections Commission, GCOM, retired Justice James Patterson, wrote to President David Granger, informing him that the elections body would not be able to hold credible elections before late November. He said they needed money for the polls, as well as time to conduct a house-to-house registration to create a new voters list. Under the Ghana Constitution, elections should be held no later than 90 days after the passing of a no-confidence motion against the government, which occurred on December 21st last year. At a press conference on Wednesday, Jagdeo said the letter written by the GCOM chairman was meant to give the executive an excuse for further delaying the elections. He said it cannot be business as usual and the PPP will take action against the government.
We will not damage public infrastructure. We will not beat people on the streets or harass them. We will not do anything that will harm our public servants or policemen or soldiers or doctors or teachers from going about their business of keeping our country going on a daily basis. We will not do anything to harm them doing that. That our target will be narrowly focused on the illegal president, the illegal prime minister, and the illegal ministers. That is where we will focus on them, not to pursue violence against them, because we abhor that, but to make life very, very uncomfortable for them who are occupying offices illegally, who have been violating our Constitution, who now for their own self-interest will push our country into a crisis.
Jagdeo says the party has already written to several organizations arguing for non-recognition of the government after March 22nd and seeking sanctions against the GCOM chairman and government-appointed commissioners. He says there will also be protests across the country. United States President Donald Trump will have talks with 5 regional leaders on Friday amid concerns that he may be trying to take advantage of CARICOM leaders' division on Venezuela. The White House said Trump will meet with the leaders of the Bahamas, Haiti, Jamaica, St. Lucia, and the Dominican Republic at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida to discuss his vision for the diverse relationships in the Caribbean and the potential opportunities for energy investment. They will also discuss Chinese economic intervention in the region and the political and economic crisis in Venezuela. At their recent intersessional summit in St. Kitts and Nevis last month, CARICOM leaders reiterated their position of non-interference in the internal affairs of Venezuela and said they were prepared to mediate in the process to bring about a peaceful solution to the crisis in which opposition leader Juan Guaido is seeking to replace President Nicolas Maduro. Trump and his allies have openly and strongly supported Guaido and recognized him as the country's legitimate head of state. And the Caribbean countries whose leaders he will meet with on Friday had supported an OAS resolution not to recognize Maduro's second 5-year term in office after he was sworn in January. And political analysts say Trump is using CARICOM leaders' division on Venezuela to further drive a wedge among them on the issue and will use Friday's meeting as a ploy to further intervene in Venezuela's internal affairs. While a senior advisor to the Dominica government on Wednesday warned of a possible erosion of Caribbean unity as he criticized President Trump's decision to meet with select regional leaders. Senior counsel Anthony Astafan says while the American president is free to invite whomever he wants to a meeting, those invited must have the moral and political courage to indicate that they cannot speak for CARICOM.
But the prime ministers from CARICOM are the ones with the obligation and the duty and the decency to make a calculated decision on the basis of respect for the unity of CARICOM and CARICOM. And that if in fact the president or the prime minister of England or Canada wants to have a discussion with Caribbean countries about any matter relating to China, I don't know what that was about, or in relation to Venezuela, it has to be with the representatives of CARICOM and must include the chairman of CARICOM. None of these prime ministers know that will be on their way to Florida shortly to meet with the prime minister have the authority or the jurisdiction to speak on behalf of CARICOM.
Meantime, the Jamaica government announced on Wednesday that its embassy in Venezuela's capital, Caracas, will be temporarily closed with effect April 1st. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Kamina Johnson-Smith, said the ministry, along with its embassy, have been experiencing significant challenges in the operations at the post for some time, and temporary closure is now the practical solution. During the period of the embassy's closure, the management of Jamaica's relations with Venezuela will be undertaken from the ministry's headquarters in Kingston. Trinidad and Tobago's Attorney General Faris Al-Rawi is assuring court workers across the country that none of them will lose their jobs in the restructuring of the judiciary. And he has chastised President of the Public Services Association, Watson Duke, for creating panic among workers, leading to several of them staying off the job this week. Duke on Monday and Tuesday led workers in what he called a holiday for justice, charging that their jobs were under threat as a result of the restructuring. But responding to a question in the Senate on Tuesday about how many workers would be dismissed, the Attorney General said no jobs will be lost, and he criticized Duke's approach.
I take this opportunity to condemn in the most straight of terms the panic that is being put out by a politician who wears the hat as the president of the Public Services Association.
It's clear how the Attorney General is viewing the PSA leader and his holiday for justice, which has seen judiciary staff away from the job, forcing court matters to be rescheduled and, in some instances, crippling the court system. The action has been prompted by what the PSA president says is a transformation in the judiciary that would see workers being sent home by September 1st. But the Attorney General says it will not be a case where positions are decreased, but in fact, the complete opposite.
There is, in the expansion of the criminal division, the creation of a number of posts, employment opportunities, and a betterment for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago in the arena that is the criminal justice arena.
The Attorney General is also taking issue with Duke's claims that the PSA was only consulted once and given very little information.
The representative union has been fully engaged in this matter. There has been proper consultation, copious documents were provided, and it is a fact of law that permanent workers, which is whom the Public Services Association represents, cannot be dismissed. That is a fact of law.
Still to come in Caribbean Newsline, over a month of protests ends in Guyana after Rusal reaches an agreement with the Bauxite Workers Union. We'll be right back.
Even Democrats who, tend to, be a little more sympathetic to socialist governments abroad, they cannot believe this, and I can't either. I mean, I hope this finishes him once and for all, because I'm kind of tired, of
About Bernie?
I mean, what's interesting though is he's going to have, it's funny because he thinks he's going to have an easier time of it this time, and he actually said something that was very honest, but I'm surprised he said it out loud.
Don't jump up to this non-stop turn and twist.
What up, it's your boy French Montana.
It's me, Smokey Robinson.
It's your boy David Doe.
Hi, I'm Elme.
This is Buju Banton, and I'll be performing live with the Shiloh Band in St. Kitts Music Festival.
Don't miss the 23rd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival, June 26th to June 30th, 2019. Featuring Buju Banton, Smokey Robinson, Popcorn, and Elme. Also, Davido, French Montana, Fimba, Edwin Yearwood and Crossfire, Coco T, Skinny Fabulous, Shal Marshall, Charlie Black, Farmer Nappy, Nadia Batson, Infamous, New Vibes Band, and many, many more. It will be epic. It will be mind-blowing. It will be jaw-dropping. It will be awesome. The St. Kitts Music Festival, an experience like no other. For more information and to buy tickets, log on to www.stkittsmusicfestival.com.
We continue in Guyana, where after over a month of striking and protesting by workers at Rusal, the Russian company and the Bauxite Workers Union have finally reached an agreement. The agreement signed on a Wednesday states that all 61 workers who were dismissed and 30 who were laid off have been reinstated. We get the details in this Newsroom Guyana report.
The terms of resumption agreement states that there will be no victimization or change of conditions for the reinstated workers, no compensation for time not worked during the dispute, the return of the checkoff system, and clearing of the Berbice River. A statement from the Guyana Bauxite and General Workers Union Wednesday noted that a subsequent meeting will be held within 14 days following the full resumption of work with the Bauxite Company of Guyana Incorporated to negotiate a new collective labor agreement. Minister of Natural Resources Raphael Trotman indicated on Tuesday the urgency to deal with the issue with the workers and the company.
We are urging, certainly at my level, I've urged Minister of Social Protection to try to get a resolution of this matter as a matter of urgency.
A dispute with 61 workers and the Bauxite Company started on February 15th when the workers protested a 1% increase in their wages and salaries. The workers were subsequently fired. While the aim of blocking the Berbice River was to prevent the shipment of bauxite, the action also affected the work of loggers who used the river. Minister Trotman said the protest has affected several sectors of the economy since its inception several weeks ago.
The standoff has affected many sectors. The government is not earning revenue from the shipment of bauxite. Loggers have been affected. Employment, of course, is affected.
In addition to the 61 workers, Rusal fired 30 more employees late last month. Rusal told the government that all workers, regardless of their rank, are paid a monthly income of $259,000. Rusal owns 90% of the Bauxite Company of Guyana and was given licenses to develop bauxite deposit groups along Linden, Kwakwani, and Ituni. With government intervention, Rusal agreed to recognize the Guyana Bauxite and General Workers Union, and the two parties had their first bilateral meeting Friday last.
This week in Newsline Business, we hear that Grenada is working to reduce its food import bill, and the Bahamas says it doesn't anticipate any major fallout from the grounding of Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft. The details from Mary Claire Williams.
Newsline Business is brought to you by Solar Dynamics.
Grenada is hoping that a new poultry policy will help to reduce the island's food import bill. Figures for 2017 stood at $187 million, with poultry representing 5.1% of the total bill. Farmers' representative in the Senate, Dunstan Campbell, says under the new policy, local poultry production should increase, thereby reducing imports.
It's just catching up. It's going to take a little time before farmers adjust to the policy. But in that area, yes, you'll see significant changes because the amount, in terms of the quantity of or the size of our import bill, it is very significant and way towards import of chicken, right? And so if we can produce it locally, then you'll have less importation of meat.
Airport officials in the Bahamas say they do not anticipate any impact on passengers traveling through the Linden-Pindling International Airport following the grounding of Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft. Airlines around the globe suspended the use of the aircraft following the fatal crash of Ethiopia Airlines Flight 302 last Sunday. Jan Knowles is the Vice President of Marketing at the Nassau Airport Development Company. She says she does not expect any loss of service.
We are monitoring the matter closely, however, as our international airline partners that have this aircraft type in their fleet have confirmed to us that they will be replacing these aircraft with other equipment to service the significant demand going on right now for Nassau. Opal, for January and February 2019, LPIA has experienced record passenger numbers with a 20.5 year-over-year increase in passengers for those first 2 months of this year. And we anticipate this growth trend will continue in March and throughout the upcoming Easter season.
Trinidad and Tobago recorded its 4,000th cargo of liquefied natural gas last weekend onto the Jamaica. The tanker was on its 15th voyage to the Atlantic facility in Point Fortin. Port of Spain is among the world's top 10 LNG producing countries. Mary Claire Williams, Newsline Business.
Newsline Business was brought to you by Solar Dynamics.
When we were building in 1984, we decided to get the solar water heater.
We use it up to this morning.
From my home, we get rain 2 days and we still get hot water.
I've had it for 30 years and I have no problems with it up to this day.
All I can say is that anyone who wishes to have a system, try Solar Dynamics.
Solar Dynamics water heater systems are now right through the Caribbean.
Sports major endorsements for the challengers in the upcoming Cricket West Indies elections.
At the University of Guyana on the question of the diaspora and the role. I presented a paper that has just been published by the University of Guyana. And I want to read just a sentence of the contribution that Guyanese abroad have been making. Remittances represent more than foreign direct investment and nearly as much as current official development assistance from all donor parties.
Don't jump up to this non-stop turn and twist.
What up, it's your boy French Montana.
It's me, Smokey Robinson.
It's your boy Davido.
Hi, I'm Elmay.
This is Buju Banton, and I'll be performing live with the Shiloh Band in St. Kitts Music Festival.
Don't miss the 23rd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival, June 26th to June 30th, 2019, featuring Buju Banton, Smokey Robinson, Popcorn, and Elmay. Also, Davido, French Montana, Fimba, Edwin Yearwood and Crossfire, Coco T, Skinny Fabulous, Shal Marshall, Charlie Black, Farmer Nappy, Nadia Batson, Infamous, New Vibes Band, and many, many more. It will be epic. It will be mind-blowing. It will be jaw-dropping. It will be awesome. The St. Kitts Music Festival, an experience like no other. For more information and to buy tickets, log on to www.stkitsmusicfestival.com.
Cricket West Indies presidential candidate Ricky Scarrett and running mate Dr. Kishore Shallow have received major endorsements from legends Clive Lloyd and Sir Andy Roberts as they seek to topple the Dave Cameron ticket in Sunday's elections in Jamaica. This follows last Sunday's endorsement of the pair by another cricketing great, Sir Vivian Richards, the highly regarded legendary former captain and master batsman. Charging that West Indies cricket had undergone decimation during the Cameron administration, Lloyd on Tuesday contended that West Indies cricket was in need of a new direction and that Scarrett possessed all the qualities to take the game in the Caribbean forward. The outspoken Sir Andy, meanwhile, said Scarrett and Shallow had convinced him they would be unifying figures and would bring the change so badly required to halt the decline in West Indies cricket. The latest endorsements add to the groundswell of support for Scarrett and Shallow, who've already gotten the thumbs up from St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. But the pair will need to secure at least 7 of the 12 votes from the 6 territorial boards in order to prevent Cameron and Vice President Emmanuel Nanthan from securing a 4th straight term. Already, Barbados, Guyana and Windward Islands have signaled their support for the incumbents, while Trinidad and Tobago and Leeward Islands have backed the challengers. The Jamaica Cricket Association has said it will hear from both parties before making a decision on who to support. Meanwhile, ex-West Indies captain Darren Sammy has condemned Cameron's style of leadership and thrown his support behind Scarrett's team to lead Windies cricket. The former T20 captain took a swipe at the current cricket administration, saying that the CWI president does not have the interest of the regional game at heart. In an 18-minute-long video clip on his Facebook page, Sammy highlighted a litany of woes under Cameron, namely the firing of 2 World Cup winning coaches, the poor treatment meted out to Dwayne Bravo and Chris Gayle, and the cancellation of the 2014 tour of India. The St. Lucian cricketer, who has led the T20 side in taking back-to-back World Cup titles, says Cameron should take no credit for the World Cup victories.
The fact remains, over the last 6 years as an administration, you've done poorly. That's a fact. You try to take credit for the 3 wins, World Cup wins in 2016, which is wrong. We won.
In endorsing main contenders Scarrett and Dr. Shallow, Sammy said it's now time for the winds of change to blow in the leadership of the regional game.
The plan Mr. Scarrett and Shallow has in store for West Indies, and I think it's an excellent plan. You've heard the greats, so Vivian Richards, Clive Lloyd, Andy Roberts, Mr. Finley, all these guys who know one thing or two about leadership, endorsing these people. And I would love to throw in my support behind Mr. Scarrett and Dr. Shallow, because I believe they could have an impact in the way forward for our cricket. It's time for change. If you do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, that's insane. That's insanity. And we've had enough of the same thing, which is Dave Cameron as president of WICB.
Over to the women's game, West Indies captain Stephanie Taylor struck her third regional one-day 100 as Jamaica repelled a strong challenge from host Guyana to pull off a 6-wicket win in round 2 of the Women's Super 50 Cup on Tuesday. Asked to chase a demanding 243 at Everest after Shemaine Campbell had stroked 111, also the third century of her career, Jamaica overhauled the target with 20 balls to spare, with the experienced Taylor carving out 119. 22-year-old opener Rashada Williams hit 47, while Windies batsman Chideen Nation chipped in with a breezy 30 off 39 deliveries. Fast bowler Irva Giddings, who ended with 3 for 39 from her 10 overs, set back Jamaica early when she bowled West Indies batsman Natasha McLean without scoring off the second ball of the innings. And that was without a run on the board. At the National Stadium, Barbados flexed their muscle in crushing Windward Islands by 241 runs to also post their second straight win. Sent in, they piled up a record 334 for 3 off their 50 overs, their highest ever total in the history of the modern domestic championship, with West Indies stars Deandra Dottin, Hayley Matthews and Kaisia Knight all getting half-centuries. In reply, Windwards were bundled out for 93 in the 29th over, with Windies fast bowler Shamilia Connell snatching 3 for 36 and her regular new ball partner Shakira Salmon claiming 2 for 12. In the other match at the Georgetown Cricket Club, Trinidad and Tobago romped to their second consecutive win when they overhauled Leeward Islands' paltry 76 to win by 4 wickets. Off-spinners Leandra Ramdeen and Karishma Ramharak set up TNT's win before opener Felicia Walters, who played 2 ODIs 2 years ago, formalized the result with an unbeaten 32. And that's the sport. He'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
When we were building in 1984, we decided to get the solar water heater.
We use it up to this morning.
From my home, we get rain 2 days and we still get hot water.
I've had it for 30 years and I have no problems with it up to this day.
All I can say is that anyone who wishes to have a system, try Solar Dynamics.
Solar Dynamics water heater systems are now right through the Caribbean.
Become part of a family of over 2.5 million people in 16 Caribbean countries. When you join a credit union, you're not just a member, you are part owner. Join a credit union today. This message is brought to you by the Caribbean Confederation of Credit Unions.
When I first had an interview with Ms. Baker, it was beautiful. She's a beautiful spirit, a kind woman. Not only that, she can give you some information, and if you take it and do something with it, it's worth it. I thank her for opening up her doors, for giving me a position. You know, she's the type of woman, if you go to her sincerely with an open heart, she's a giver. She helps, you know.
Again, the major developments of this day: Jamaica's Education Minister Rule Reid resigns from his job and the Senate amid corruption allegations. And in sport, Cricket West Indies presidential candidate Ricky Skerritt and running mate Dr. Kishore Shallow get endorsements from legends Clive Lloyd and Sir Andy Roberts. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport round the clock, subscribe to ConNews.com. For more of our programming, log on to caribvision.tv and check out our YouTube channel. We'll be back here again tomorrow. But from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching and have yourselves a good night.